Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today is the 16th of May. This is the fourth day after I've had my chemo, and I think today I'll share a bit of the story of how we found out about the cancer and sort of what led up to it. Just on today was a little bit rougher than yesterday, but still not too bad. Woke up this morning. Deirdre took Craig to church to go and play in the band, so I was here at home alone for most of the morning. At about 12 o'clock I was feeling quite sleepy, and everyone was telling me, if you feel tired, go and lie down, which is something I probably wouldn't normally do, but I am listening to people's advice, so I went and lay down for about 3 hours, which was quite good. So I'm feeling a bit better now. One of the side effects that is a bit irritating is my tongue feels numb. I'm not sure if it's the chemo or the cortisone or what's causing that, but my tongue feels a bit numb, so everything I tastes a little bit metallic, which is a bit irritating, but I suppose it comes with the territory. Otherwise, still a little struggling with the stomach a little bit nauseous, but not that bad. Comes and goes a bit. Haven't thrown up, so that's a good thing. But otherwise doing all right. Just to sort of get you up to speed of how we got here, it was quite a whirlwind journey. So this year's been quite a rough year. We had quite a lot of things happening in the beginning of the year, and then in March of this year, my mom hasn't been too well for a while. She's had some problems with the tummy, and in March I went to take her to the doctor. Sorry, excuse me. One of the things that's also been happening quite a bit is a lot of burping. So I don't know if it's the medication or what it is, but so just excuse me for that. So I took my mom to the doctor. She immediately sent us to the hospital. My mom was booked into the hospital so that they can check exactly why she's having the gastric problems and to get to the bottom of it. My mom was in hospital for about 3 weeks, and during that time they tested everything just to make sure that whatever there is that can be found. During that time, it was also my 50th birthday in March, and unfortunately my mom couldn't be with us for that, and that was a bit sad, not to having been able to celebrate my birthday with my mom. But she was very well looked after in the hospital. But the one thing that came out of that hospital visit was that they found that my mom had breast cancer. They also found that the breast cancer had spread from her breast into one of her lymph nodes under her arm. And so the doctors did a mastectomy, and they also removed the lymph node. Fortunately, the operation went very well. She did very well after the operation. She didn't even have to go into high care or into ICU at all, which is a very good thing. And she's a strong old lady, so she did very well after that. My mom is in frail care at the moment. She's gone to a new place, still busy adjusting to the new circumstances and the new things around her. But what happened after she had this operation, and especially with the thing about her glands, I've been noticing over the last couple of years that a lot of my glands, especially around my neck, are always a little bit inflamed. I never really thought anything too much of it. I thought maybe it's just got some sort of infection. I never really felt ill or anything from it. I also thought maybe it's from sitting in front of the computer too much, that it's because it's all really around my neck and my shoulders and that. But because my mom had the cancer that had spread to the lymph node under her arms, I decided to check the lymph nodes under my arms, something which I'd never done before. They haven't bothered me before, so I've never checked them before. And when I did check, I found that both of them were quite enlarged, very pronounced actually. And I couldn't feel it otherwise, but when you felt it with your hands, you could feel it. So I decided to go to the GP just to have her check it out. She said it might just be an infection, just to give it a week or so, and if it doesn't go away, she gave me a letter to go for a sonar. So I waited until just after Easter. The lymph nodes were still enlarged. So on the Tuesday after Easter, I went to the hospital to do a sonar of my lymph nodes under my arms. The results were sent to the GP. She immediately said that I must go back again the next day so they can do a biopsy of the lymph node, so they can send that in just to see what it is, and for me to go for blood tests. So the next day I was back at the hospital. They did a biopsy, stuck a needle in there, pulled out some of the material, went for the blood tests, and that was the Wednesday. On the Thursday, the GP organised an appointment for me to go and meet with an oncologist on the Friday. On Friday, we went to go and see the oncologist at Mill Park, and the blood tests had just come through, and it showed that my white blood cell count was quite high. So the oncologist booked me in on the Monday to go into hospital to go and have one of the lymph nodes taken out so they can do a proper assessment. They also found that with a previous biopsy that there was some cloning in the cells, so that's also a sign of there's something not right. And so on Monday I went into the hospital. Monday evening they took me through for a CT scan. I went to have the CT scan. When they did the CT scan, they found that most of the lymph nodes in my upper torso and lower torso are all enlarged. So it's not just the surface ones, it's right through my body. They also found a kidney stone in my left kidney. So that was another, never knew I had a kidney stone. So the next day in the hospital, the surgeon came to see me, told me what they were going to do. The urologist came to see me about the kidney stone, just to tell me what's happening there. Took me for some tests on that as well. And then on the Wednesday, I went in for the operation to have the lymph node taken out. Operation went very well. Everything was fine. After the operation, I spoke to the urologist, and we thought it's best to deal with a kidney stone straight away, just in case I have to have chemo. So rather deal with that before the chemo starts. So I was booked in for the next Monday to have a stent put into my kidney, so that they can get rid of the kidney stone, to do some pounding of the kidney. It's sonic thing that they use to pound the kidneys, to break up the kidney stone. And that was on the Monday. So now I had surgery on the Wednesday, and then again surgery on the Monday. We also got the results back from the biopsy from after the surgery, and we spoke to the doctor, and he said we definitely have to do the chemo. So that was going to start, but we first had to wait for after the stent was to be taken out 2 weeks later. So that was on the Monday. And then on the Friday evening after the surgery, Craig was at church. He's working at the church with the youth, and he jumped down a couple of stairs and broke his ankle. So we got a call at like 10 o'clock at night from the youth pastor at the church to say that Craig's broken his ankle and they're going to take him through to the emergency room. So Deidre and I rushed through there to go and be with Craig and to help him. When we got there, he was sitting with his ankle nicely swollen. We weren't sure whether it was broken or just sprained, but they took him into the surgery. Deirdre took Craig's car home. I waited for Craig. Eventually, we got out of the emergency room at about 2:30 in the morning. They definitely took they had the x-rays, and I'll see if I can post a picture up on the screen of Craig's x-ray of his broken ankle. We got home that evening with his ankle all bandaged up, and the next day the hospital phoned, said no, Craig must come back in. They're going to have to operate on his ankle to put a screw in. So the next day again, back off to Mill Park again. Craig was booked in. He had the surgery on the Sunday, and then on that Monday I had to go back in to go and see the surgeon so she can have a look at the wound where they took the lymph node out. Everything was fine there. So I went there, went to my appointment, waited for Craig, brought him back home. So now he's got a moon boot on and walking around with crutches. So a lot of exciting things all happening all at once. And then we spoke to the surgeon, the oncologist, and he thought it was best for us to do the chemo just after I had my surgery to take the stent out. So now the next Monday, went back into hospital to have the stent taken out. So this is now my third surgery in 4 weeks. We were going to start with the chemo straight afterwards, but there were issues with the drugs and with the medical aid. But I'm quite grateful for that, because I don't think I would have been up to having the chemo straight after the surgery. So all of these things were busy happening. We're looking after Craig at home because he can't really do too much. He's got to keep his leg up. And then obviously we had to start with the chemo. And so that's where we are, and this is all that has led up to this whole thing. But it just strikes me that when I wouldn't have really checked the lymph nodes under my arms unless my mom had the surgery that she had. I probably would have left it for much later. Who knows, maybe even a year or two later before we actually discovered this. So it is quite a providence of God that we have found this now, and that we can go through this process. Like I said before, it's not a very aggressive type of cancer, but it's got to be dealt with. So that's everything that has led up to this point. So I suppose the the lesson that you can learn from this is, rather, if you think that there's something wrong, rather check it out sooner rather than waiting. Sometimes it's the little things that could cause bigger problems later, and if we can find them early, it's always going to be better. All right, thank you very much. I think I'm going to leave a vlog for a bit unless something happens, maybe a couple of days, and then I'll update you guys again. All right, thank you. Thanks, bye.